night, everyone. This is update for March 31st, 2022, day 36 of the war. We would like to mention some housekeeping notes here. And first of all, we would like to stress is that we are independent. We're not financed by any government, state, not by Ukraine, not by Russia, not by US, not by UK, not by EU, not by China, not by anyone, right? Which we are independent, and our goal is to provide as balanced, as objective information as we can. So that's our goal, and we don't have much resources, and we really rely on you and your support. And so when some people in the forum ask to update maps every day or, do something, super duper, we try to do that. However, if we can reduce amount of our work in terms of, and the quality of work doesn't go down, we do that. So like if we have maps from 2 days ago and they more or less the same, we reuse those maps. So please understand that. And, this is how we operate. If you're not happy about it, you're welcome to find better channel for you. Now, once we're done with this discussion, let's actually look at what's going on. We have updated this big picture map. And what we're seeing is full-scale withdrawal of Russian troops from west of Kyiv and then east of Kyiv. The last, let's actually look at what's going on here. We definitely know that that Russian troops, so-called vacated town of Dimir and this village of Demidov. So we believe they also left from Borodyanka and all of this Bucha, Irpin, Hostomel area. And in what we've seen, what we heard from the locals, that they have seen them leaving village of Katyuzhanka. This is this intersect junction here. And probably at this point, they already somewhere in Ivankiv and probably leaving Ivankiv. So in our opinion, then sometime tomorrow, they will be totally gone from Ukraine, from west of Kyiv, this area. The same similar situation is happening towards east of Kyiv. So this morning, Russian troops were somewhere spotted somewhere around town of Ichnya, and by now they were heading towards Baturin. So we believe that they probably somewhere around Baturin by right now, and probably by the end of day tomorrow, they will be completely gone from Ukraine. This means that they are somewhere on the border between around Konotop, a little bit north of Konotop, and they probably will be gone by the end of tomorrow from Ukraine. So we created a couple of, call it boxes. One box is for Ukrainian brigades that were fighting around Kyiv area, and we would like to track it and see what happens, how they're going to get allocated to Donbass front line, because we certainly will, or maybe they will get allocated, some of them to south. So it will be interesting to see how the force is getting shifted over time. We also identified 2 Ukrainian units that we haven't, we don't know where they are on the map. This is 35th Naval Infantry Brigade and 3rd Tank Brigade. So those 2 units. There is also 80th Ukrainian Brigade that suffered heavy casualties in the first days of Russian attack when it was defending exit from Crimean Peninsula. So we believe that it's being actively rebuilt, and we probably will see this unit sometime soon on the front lines. For the Russian side, we created 2 boxes. One box is for the units that were west of Kyiv, and we believe that these units probably will not appear anywhere on the front lines for the reason that most of them suffered pretty heavy casualties and need refitting and rehabilitation, and that will take time. And what we mean is mostly the human side of the losses, right? Equipment, it's easily replenishable for Russian side. So that's totally not a problem. What is more difficult is the human side, right? And for Ukraine, the same. It's always about humans because that's who really fight, not the machines. This is another box. This group east of Kyiv, it suffered smaller casualties, and especially these four brigades, probably 90th Tank Division and 2nd Mechanized Division, somewhat suffered more on higher side casualties. But these units, we believe, can be immediately reused by Russian command in the south, basically on Donbass front line or here in the south. So it would be curious to see how they're going to get allocated. This is the box for the units that we know they're fighting on front lines in Ukraine, but we don't know where exactly they are. Also, these two units are pretty pretty fresh and pretty good shape. They have not really been used by Russian command, and we believe that they're using them. That they are kind of they will be used as a trump card somewhere on the front line in Donbass. Potentially, our thought was that they will eventually will try to exploit the hole that right now is 47th Tank Division trying to create near Izyum. And as we discussed yesterday, probably this 47th Tank Division in the process will get expanded, and then it will create that hole, and those two units will be thrown into the hole to try to create a pocket here of Ukrainian troops. So let's keep going here. Let's look at the situation here between Kharkiv and Severodonetsk. Nothing really new here. All we know about this area in Izyum, that Ukrainian troops for now stalled Russian advance. Russian troops control village. So let's just have a closer look. They control village of Kamyanka and Sukha Kamyanka. And but Ukrainian troops are still controlling, to our knowledge, this peninsula in the southern Izyum, town of Izyum, which obviously creates a little bit of problem for Russian troops. So for now, this is kind of stalemate here, but we are certain that now that the Russian command has more troops at their disposal, they probably will try to send more troops here to try to finally create a hole in the Ukrainian defensive lines. So now let's look what's going on here in Severodonetsk. We mentioned before, we've shown this on the map here. This is like Ukrainian bridgehead on the eastern side. So Russian troops trying to really attack it to eliminate it. So far, they didn't have any luck and suffered losses there. So let's keep going. There is ongoing fight around town of Popasna, which is kind of like here where we have this arrow. Then there is never-ending fight west of Donetsk. There are two towns there. One is called Avdiivka and the other one is Mariupol. So what happened in Avdiivka, and this is actually we learned from Russian sources, not from Ukrainians. So for those who are sort of supporter of Russia, when they say that we are biased, this is actually information from the Russian sources. So they said that these Russian attacking troops were caught in several fire pockets here around Avdiivka by Ukrainian troops. So what really this means is they cannot attack further, and then it's almost impossible to withdraw. So you're getting destroyed as you try to withdraw. So they are actually withdrawing from those fire pockets created by Ukrainian army and suffering pretty heavy casualties in the process. So basically, the attempt to capture Avdiivka totally failed. Russian troops made some progress in attempt to capture town of Marinka, and we definitely know that they probably captured majority of that. Well, it's actually really village, most of that village. Then there is kind of dangerous situation here for Ukrainian troops, where Russian force call it brigade, or it's military camp from Abkhazia, which was pulled. This is occupation air force that was pulled from area that was annexed from Georgia by Russia. And so they tried to kind of move a little bit more towards the west and trying to find hole here that's not defended by Ukrainian army. It just happened that the 53rd Brigade was still able to cover here and still was able to repel the attack. But we're certain that eventually Russian troops will try. It's not very clear what's going on here on the Ukrainian side. And we believe that there is potentially some kind of gap here that Russian troops will try to exploit eventually. So let's actually look a little bit more in detail here. So this is this attack by this force military camp, we believe, towards village of Velika Novosilka. So far, Ukrainian 53rd Brigade managed to stop them, but it's totally unclear who's defending here, where we have the question mark. In addition, there is also 19th Russian 19th Division here trying to attack straight towards Gulyai-Pole. So far, their attacks were not successful. There is also, we know there's 42nd Division, but we're not hearing anything in terms of active fighting of them attacking towards stronghold of Kyiv and Stepnohirs. So we're not really certain what's going on there. Now let's a little bit have a look at Mariupol and what's going on there. So our information from yesterday was pretty correct. That's what we mentioned, that Russian troops managed to capture this quarter, and that's exactly, this is information again from the Russian sources, which they agree that they only managed to get to the perimeter of Azovstal in a small section here. So this is all still controlled by Ukrainian troops here. So they made very little progress over this past couple days, as you can see. And in terms of defending Azovstal, it's almost perfect defending the defensive ground, because if you really remember maybe Stalingrad, so this is where German troops got really bogged down and suffered heavy casualties, specifically fighting for those factories in Stalingrad. And the more you destroy them, the better defensive obstacle they become. And this is admitted by the Russian side recently, that it's nearly impossible to destroy defensive positions at Azovstal with whatever you want to use, so artillery fire and rockets and all that stuff. It's just too many, I guess, too much infrastructure. I don't know how to explain it, but it's super difficult. And the more you destroy it, the more rubble you have, the better it becomes for the defenders. So this is situation in Azovstal. Situation on the western side of the city is kind of still the same. Russian troops managed to make some progress in the center of the city, but they still cannot capture railroad station, which is the main objective at this point. And in addition, what we learned as well is how Ukrainian troops are being supplied in Mariupol. So it turns out that Ukrainian army sends usually about five helicopters, Mi-8, looks like per day, to basically they fly in and they bring ammunition, and each helicopter takes about 3 metric tons of ammunition with it, and probably some supplies. We don't know exactly like composition of what's being delivered, but you can imagine that it's probably all kind of like anti-tank rockets and probably some medical supplies and so on. And then on the way back, they carry about 12 wounded soldiers. So one sort of shift of this 5 helicopters brings about 15 metric tons of supplies to the city, and then it takes about 60 wounded soldiers out of it. So, as you can imagine, then the reason why we know about this is because today Russian troops managed to shoot down 1 helicopter out of 5. So that's how we learn actually how it's being done by Ukrainian army. So this is a little bit kind of hopefully helpful insight for everyone of what's happening in Azovstal and how Ukrainian troops still manage to get enough ammunition to continue fighting here. So now let's look at the situation here around Kherson. So what is happening here, in our opinion, is total madness. Ukrainian troops continue attacking towards this village or town of Stanislav. They being repelled because, as you can imagine, all of these Russian troops are essentially concentrated here on this bridgehead, and for them it's the most important objective to defend Kherson at all costs. And they have enough artillery behind them, so whenever Ukrainian troops try to advance, they getting shelled pretty heavily, and they probably suffer some losses there. And to add to this, as we mentioned before, the terrain here is very flat. It's like a tall grass or agricultural fields. So there's almost no trees at all. So it's all flat. You see very far. So this is ideal for artillery to shot. And plus, Russian troops here have attack helicopters. So basically, they can take advantage of their equipment to the fullest. And in a way, Ukrainian troops are attacking the stronghold, the worst point where to attack. So this is a situation here in Mykolaiv. So unfortunately, it's not great situation for it's not wise use of resources. Let's put this way from Ukrainian side here. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Until tomorrow. Bye bye.